Imagine waking up one morning to find your entire life savings vanished overnight. No job, no money, and no way to feed your family. This wasn't just a nightmare, it was the harsh reality for millions of Americans during the Great Depression. But here's the real shocker. The effects of this economic catastrophe still shape America's economy and global influence today. How did a financial collapse in the 1930s leave fingerprints on today's world? Stay with me as we uncover the hidden consequences of the Great Depression and how they continue to impact America. Before the Great Depression, the U.S. government played a minimal role in the economy, but after the crisis, everything changed. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal introduced Social Security, unemployment benefits, and large-scale public works projects. This was the moment America shifted from a laissez-faire economy to one where the government had a direct hand in preventing financial disasters. Today, the echoes of this shift are everywhere. The 2008 financial crisis, the government bailed out banks and industries. The COVID-19 recession, massive stimulus packages. The Great Depression didn't just change the economy, it changed how America manages the economy. The Great Depression taught America a hard lesson. Deflation can be deadly. Prices plummeted, businesses failed, and unemployment soared. Since then, U.S. policymakers have done everything possible to avoid deflation, sometimes at the cost of high inflation. This fear explains why the Federal Reserve is quick to lower interest rates or inject money into the economy at the first sign of trouble. It's also why the government spends heavily during recessions. America's obsession with economic growth isn't just about prosperity, it's about survival. Ironically, the economic collapse of the 1930s set the stage for America's dominance. When World War II erupted, many nations were still crippled by the aftershocks of the Great Depression. But America, thanks to wartime industrialization, emerged stronger than ever. By the end of the war, the U.S. controlled over half of the world's manufacturing output. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 even established the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, a position it still holds today. Without the Great Depression weakening other global powers, America might never have reached this level of economic influence. Another long-term consequence? The realization that economies are deeply interconnected. The Great Depression spread like wildfire across the world, proving that no nation is immune from financial crises. This led to institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, designed to stabilize economies and prevent another global collapse. But here's the twist. These same institutions have also been used as tools of economic influence, allowing the U.S. to shape policies in other countries. The Great Depression didn't just change America, it changed the world order. Perhaps the most haunting consequence is this. The Great Depression showed that economic crashes are inevitable. Despite safeguards, America has faced multiple recessions, 2008, 2020, and possibly more to come. Each time the government steps in with massive interventions, but the fundamental cycle remains. This raises a chilling question. Is America still living in the shadow of the Great Depression, constantly trying to prevent a repeat? And more importantly, have we truly learned from history? Or are we just delaying the next inevitable collapse? Let's take a closer look at some real-world examples and case studies that illustrate the long-lasting impact of the Great Depression on America and the world. One of the most striking examples is the New Deal programs initiated by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. These programs were designed to provide immediate economic relief, create jobs, and stimulate industrial recovery. Many of these initiatives, such as Social Security and unemployment insurance, are still in place today and form the backbone of America's social safety net. Another case study worth mentioning is the establishment of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. Before its creation, bank failures were a common occurrence, causing widespread panic and financial ruin. The FDIC was introduced to restore public confidence in the banking system by insuring deposits, a measure that has been crucial in preventing bank runs during subsequent economic crises. Internationally, the global repercussions of the Great Depression led to significant changes in economic policies and trade practices. Countries around the world adopted protectionist measures initially, but eventually, the need for global cooperation became apparent. This shift laid the groundwork for the formation of institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, which aim to stabilize international economies and provide financial assistance to countries in need. These examples highlight how the lessons learned from the Great Depression have shaped modern economic policies and institutions. They serve as a reminder that while we may never fully escape the cycle of boom and bust, the strategies and safeguards we implement can make a significant difference in mitigating the impacts. Stay tuned as we dive into these fascinating stories. One of the most significant economic events of the 21st century, the 2008 financial crisis, is often compared to the Great Depression due to its severe impact on the global economy. Banks collapsed, stock markets plummeted, and millions lost their jobs, creating a ripple effect that was felt worldwide. The crisis began in the United States with the bursting of the housing bubble, triggered by high-risk mortgage lending and complex financial derivatives. As housing prices fell, mortgage delinquencies and foreclosures soared, leading to the collapse of major financial institutions like Lehman Brothers. The U.S. government responded with massive bailouts and stimulus packages, echoing the interventions seen during the Great Depression. The Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, was introduced to stabilize the banking sector, while the Federal Reserve slashed interest rates and injected liquidity into the financial system. Internationally coordinated efforts were made to prevent a total economic meltdown. Central banks around the world cut interest rates, and governments implemented stimulus measures to boost economic activity. The G20, an international forum for governments and central bank governors, played a crucial role in fostering global cooperation. This case study highlights both the similarities and differences between the two crises. While the Great Depression led to the creation of long-lasting institutions and policies, the 2008 financial crisis underscored the importance of international collaboration and the need for robust financial regulations. Lessons from the past were applied to mitigate the damage, but the crisis also revealed vulnerabilities in the global financial system that continue to be addressed today. The 2008 financial crisis serves as a stark reminder of the cyclical nature of economic instability and the ongoing challenge of achieving lasting financial security. Just over a decade after the 2008 financial crisis, the world faced another economic catastrophe, the COVID-19 recession. The pandemic triggered a global economic downturn, leading to widespread unemployment and business closures. Governments around the world, including the United States, implemented unprecedented stimulus measures to support their economies. This chapter explores how the economic policies and interventions during the Great Depression influenced the response to the COVID-19 recession and the long-term implications for economic stability. When the pandemic struck, it became clear that swift and decisive action was needed to prevent a complete economic collapse. Drawing lessons from the Great Depression, governments quickly rolled out stimulus packages, unemployment benefits, and support for businesses. In the United States, the CARES Act was enacted, providing trillions of dollars in economic relief. Central banks slashed interest rates and implemented quantitative easing to ensure liquidity in the financial system. These measures were reminiscent of the interventions during the Great Depression, but on a much larger scale and with the benefit of modern financial tools. The global response to the COVID-19 recession also highlighted the importance of international cooperation. Organizations like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank played crucial roles in supporting developing countries, while the G20 coordinated efforts to stabilize the global economy. Just like in the aftermath of the Great Depression, there were debates about the long-term effects of these interventions. Critics argued that the massive increase in government debt could lead to future financial instability, while proponents emphasized the necessity of immediate support to prevent a deeper crisis. The COVID-19 recession serves as a modern case study of how historical economic crises shape contemporary policy responses. It underscores the ongoing challenge of balancing short-term relief with long-term financial stability. As we move forward, the lessons learned from both the Great Depression and the COVID-19 recession will continue to inform how we navigate future economic challenges. The pandemic has reshaped our understanding of economic resilience and the role of government in safeguarding financial stability, reminding us that history often serves as a guide for the present and future. The New Deal's legacy. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal introduced Social Security, unemployment benefits, and public works projects that transformed the American economy. These programs laid the foundation for modern social safety nets, and continue to provide support to millions of Americans. This chapter examines the enduring legacy of the New Deal and how it shaped contemporary social programs and economic policies. During the Great Depression, the New Deal was a bold experiment in government intervention, aimed at providing immediate relief to the suffering population and laying the groundwork for long-term economic stability. Roosevelt's administration rolled out a series of programs that not only provided jobs and support, but also redefined the relationship between the government and its citizens. Social Security, one of the most significant achievements of the New Deal, continues to be a cornerstone of America's social safety net. It provides financial assistance to retirees, disabled individuals and survivors, ensuring that millions of Americans have a measure of economic security in their later years. Unemployment benefits introduced during this era also play a crucial role in stabilizing the economy during downturns, offering a lifeline to those who lose their jobs. These benefits help maintain consumer spending, which is vital for economic recovery. Public works projects, another hallmark of the New Deal, not only created jobs but also modernized America's infrastructure. From bridges and roads to schools and hospitals, these projects left a lasting impact on the nation's landscape and contributed to its long-term economic growth. The New Deal also laid the foundation for future government interventions during economic crises. Programs like the CARES Act during the COVID-19 recession can trace their roots back to the policies and ideas first implemented during the New Deal. Critics of the New Deal argue that it expanded government intervention too far, creating an over-reliance on federal support. However, proponents believe that these programs were essential in providing stability and security to millions of Americans, particularly during times of economic uncertainty. The lasting legacy of the New Deal is evident in the continued existence and importance of these social programs. They serve as a reminder of the government's ability to enact transformative change in times of crisis and underscore the ongoing debate about the role of government in the economy. As we reflect on the New Deal's impact, it becomes clear that its legacy is not just a chapter in history but a living influence that continues to shape our society and economy today. The Federal Reserve's role. The Great Depression taught the U.S. the dangers of deflation, leading to a more proactive Federal Reserve. This chapter delves into the Federal Reserve's strategies to prevent deflation and maintain economic stability, including interest rate adjustments and quantitative easing. The Federal Reserve, often referred to as the Fed, plays a crucial role in managing the U.S. economy. Its primary objectives are to promote maximum employment, stable prices, and moderate long-term interest rates. To achieve these goals, the Fed employs various monetary policy tools, including setting the federal funds rate, conducting open market operations, and implementing quantitative easing. Interest rate adjustments are one of the most well-known tools at the Fed's disposal. By lowering interest rates, the Fed encourages borrowing and spending, which can stimulate economic activity during a downturn. Conversely, raising interest rates can help cool an overheating economy and control inflation. Quantitative easing, QE, is another powerful tool used by the Fed. During times of economic stress, such as the 2008 financial crisis and the COVID-19 recession, the Fed has purchased large quantities of government securities and other financial assets. This influx of liquidity into the financial system helps lower long-term interest rates and supports borrowing and investment. Let's examine some specific instances where these measures were implemented and their outcomes. In response to the 2008 financial crisis, the Fed slashed interest rates to near zero and launched several rounds of QE. These actions helped stabilize financial markets, restore confidence, and support an eventual economic recovery. During the COVID-19 recession, the Fed once again turned to interest rate cuts and QE to mitigate the economic impact of the pandemic. By providing unprecedented levels of support, the Fed helped prevent a deeper economic downturn and facilitated a faster recovery. Critics argue that these interventions can lead to unintended consequences, such as asset bubbles and increased income inequality. However, proponents believe that the Fed's actions are necessary to maintain economic stability and prevent deflation. The Federal Reserve's role in managing the economy continues to evolve, but its commitment to preventing deflation and fostering economic stability remains steadfast. As we navigate future economic challenges, the lessons learned from past crises will undoubtedly shape the Fed's approach and strategies. Understanding the Federal Reserve's role is essential to comprehending the broader dynamics of the U.S. economy. Its actions have far-reaching implications, influencing everything from interest rates on loans and mortgages to the overall health of financial markets. In the next chapter, we will explore how these economic policies and interventions have shaped the modern financial landscape and the ongoing challenges we face in achieving true economic stability. Case study: the Bretton Woods Agreement. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 established the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, a pivotal moment in global economic history. This chapter explores the origins of the agreement, its impact on international trade and finance, and how it solidified America's position as a global economic leader. In the midst of World War II, representatives from 44 allied nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire to create a new international monetary order. The goal was to establish a framework for economic cooperation that would prevent future conflicts and promote global stability. The Bretton Woods Agreement led to the creation of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, institutions designed to oversee the new economic system and provide financial assistance to countries in need. The agreement also pegged other currencies to the US dollar, which was convertible to gold at a fixed rate. By anchoring the global economy to the US dollar, the Bretton Woods Agreement effectively positioned the United States as the world's economic leader. This newfound role allowed the US to exert significant influence over international trade and finance, shaping the post-war economic order. The Bretton Woods system facilitated unprecedented growth in international trade and investment, contributing to the global economic boom of the post-war era. However, it also faced challenges, such as imbalances in trade and capital flows, which eventually led to its collapse in the early 1970s. Despite its eventual demise, the Bretton Woods Agreement left a lasting legacy on the global economy. It established the US dollar as the dominant international currency, a status it continues to hold today. The institutions created at Bretton Woods, the IMF and the World Bank, remain central to global economic governance. Understanding the Bretton Woods Agreement is crucial to comprehending the evolution of the modern global economy. Its impact on international trade, finance, and economic policy continues to shape the world we live in today. As we reflect on the significance of the Bretton Woods Agreement, it's important to consider its long-term effects on global economic stability and the ongoing challenges we face in achieving a balanced and equitable international monetary system. In the next chapter, we will explore how these economic policies and interventions have shaped the modern financial landscape and the ongoing challenges we face in achieving true economic stability. The creation of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank was a direct response to the global economic instability caused by the Great Depression. These institutions aim to stabilize economies and prevent financial crises. This chapter examines specific instances where the IMF and World Bank intervened in global economic issues, and how their actions have shaped international economic policies. Established during the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, the IMF and the World Bank were designed to promote international monetary cooperation and provide financial assistance to countries in need. Their primary goal was to prevent the kind of economic turmoil that had led to the Great Depression and World War II. The IMF focuses on ensuring the stability of the international monetary system by providing policy advice, financial assistance, and technical support to its member countries. Over the years, the IMF has intervened in numerous financial crises, including the Latin American debt crisis of the 1980s, the Asian financial crisis of the late 1990s, and the European sovereign debt crisis of the 2010s. These interventions have often required countries to implement strict economic reforms in exchange for financial assistance. The World Bank, on the other hand, aims to reduce poverty and promote sustainable development by providing financial and technical support for development projects in developing countries. The World Bank has funded a wide range of projects, from infrastructure development to education and healthcare initiatives. Its involvement has been crucial in helping countries rebuild and develop their economies after periods of conflict or economic hardship. Both the IMF and the World Bank have faced criticism for their policies and interventions. Critics argue that the conditions attached to their financial assistance can sometimes exacerbate economic problems and lead to social unrest. However, supporters contend that these institutions play a vital role in maintaining global economic stability and promoting development. Understanding the roles and actions of the IMF and World Bank is essential to comprehending the complexities of the modern global economy. Their influence on international economic policies continues to shape the world we live in today. As we move forward, it is important to consider how these institutions can evolve to better address the challenges of the 21st century and contribute to a more balanced and equitable global economic system. As we've seen, The Great Depression left an indelible mark on America's economy, policies, and global influence. From government interventions to the creation of international financial institutions, the lessons learned from this period continue to shape our world. The New Deal's policies, aimed at economic recovery, laid the foundation for modern government programs and regulations. Social Security, unemployment insurance, and labor rights were all born out of this era, providing a safety net that many rely on today. The Federal Reserve, which played a crucial role during the Great Depression, has evolved to become a central figure in managing the nation's monetary policy, striving to balance inflation and unemployment. Its actions ripple through the global economy, influencing interest rates and financial markets worldwide. Internationally, the Bretton Woods Agreement and the creation of the IMF and World Bank were direct responses to the economic turmoil of the 1930s. These institutions aim to foster global economic stability and development, although their methods and effectiveness are often debated. The Great Depression also reshaped America's position on the world stage. Emerging as a global superpower post-World War II, the United States took on a leadership role in creating a financially connected world. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember these lessons and apply them to future economic challenges. The cycles of boom and bust, the fear of deflation, and the importance of international cooperation all stem from the experiences of the Great Depression. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video. The Great Depression was more than just a financial disaster. It was a turning point that reshaped America's economy, policies, and global influence. Its impact is still felt today, from government interventions to fears of recession and inflation. But what do you think? Are we still haunted by the Great Depression, or has America finally mastered economic stability? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story that uncovers the hidden truths behind global events. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.